You're 55 years old. You've got maybe 100,000 saved for retirement. Maybe less, maybe a bit more. And you just did the math. At this rate, you're going to run out of money when you're 73. If that pit in your stomach feels familiar, this video is for you. Because here's the truth that nobody wants to say out loud. Starting at 55 means you've got about 10 years to get this right. Not 30 years, not 20, 10. But here's the good news, and I promise you there is good news. You've still got time, you've likely hit your peak earning years, and with the right strategy, you can set yourself up for a retirement that doesn't keep you up at night. So in the next 15 minutes, I'm going to walk you through the exact playbook for saving for retirement when you're 55. No fluff, no generic advice, just the strategies that actually move the needle. Let's get into it. Okay, first things first. We need to talk about where you actually stand, because you can't build a strategy without knowing your starting point. The average 55-year-old in America has about $120,000 saved for retirement. Now, if you're thinking, that sounds pretty good, let me give you some context. Financial planners typically recommend having about 7 times your annual salary saved by age 55. So if you're making $75,000 a year, that's over $500,000 you should have saved. See the gap? But here's what I want you to understand. I'm not showing you this to make you panic. I'm showing you this because understanding the reality of your situation is the first step to fixing it. Here's what you do have going for you at 55. 1. You're likely in your peak earning years. Your 50s are typically when your salary is at its highest point. 2. Your kids might be out of the house or close to it, which means you can redirect money that was going to college funds or family expenses. 3. You've got more financial wisdom than you had at 25 or 35. You know what mistakes to avoid. 4. The IRS actually gives you extra room to save once you hit 50. We'll talk about those catch-up contributions in a minute. And 5. You've still got a 10-year runway. That might not sound like a lot, but with compound interest and aggressive saving, 10 years can transform your retirement picture. So yes, you're behind, but you're not out of the game. Not even close. All right, let's talk numbers for a second. And I promise to keep this simple. The first question everyone asks is, how much do I actually need to retire? Here's the quick formula. Take your expected annual expenses in retirement and multiply by 25. That's called the 25x rule, and it comes from the 4% withdrawal strategy. So if you think you'll need $50,000 a year to live on in retirement, you need about $1.25 million saved. If you need $40,000 a year, that's $1 million. Now I know what you're thinking. That's impossible. I'll never get there. Hold on, because we need to subtract Social Security from this equation. The average Social Security benefit right now is about $1,900 a month. That's almost $23,000 a year. And if you've had a solid career, yours might be higher. You can check your estimated benefit on the Social Security website. I'll put the link in the description. So using our example, if you need $50,000 a year and Social Security gives you $23,000, you actually only need to replace $23,000, $27,000 from your savings. Using the 25 times rule, that means you need about $675,000 saved, not $1.25 million. Still a big number? Absolutely. But it's a lot more achievable than what you thought a minute ago. Here's the other piece of good news. You have 10 years to save, and during that time, your money is also growing through compound interest. If you have $100,000 saved right now, and you add $2,000 a month for the next 10 years, with a 7% average return, you'd have about $525,000 by age 65. Add in Social Security and suddenly you're looking at a workable retirement. The point is this, the numbers are challenging, but they're not impossible. And the strategies we're about to cover will show you exactly how to close that gap. All right, now we get into the actual strategies. And strategy number 1 is the absolute foundation, maximizing your 401k, especially those catch-up contributions. Here's what most people don't realize. Once you turn 50, the IRS lets you contribute more to your retirement accounts than younger workers. In 2025, the regular 401k contribution limit is $23,500. But if you're 50 or older, you can contribute an additional $7,500 in catch-up contributions, bringing your total to $31,000. That's $7,500 extra dollars that you can shelter from taxes and grow for retirement. Now, can you actually afford to max out your 401k? Maybe, maybe not. But here's what I want you to do. Step 1. Look at your current contribution rate. If you're contributing 6% or 8%, bump it up by 2%. Then in 6 months, bump it up another 2%. Keep doing this until you hit the maximum, or until you truly can't go any higher. Step 2. If your employer offers a match, like 50% of the first 6% you contribute, you need to contribute at least enough to get the full match. That's free money. Not taking it is like leaving a bonus check on the table. Step 3. Understand the tax benefit. If you're in the 22% tax bracket and you contribute $31,000 to your 401k, that saves you about $6,800 in taxes. You're essentially getting a discount on your retirement savings. Here's the thing about catch-up contributions. They're specifically designed for people in your situation. The government knows that people in their 50s need to accelerate their savings, so they created this opportunity. I get it. Saving $31,000 a year sounds like a lot. But remember, we're talking about $2,583 a month. And if you're in your peak earning years, if the kids are out of the house, if you can cut back on some discretionary spending, this becomes possible. Even if you can't hit the full $31,000, every dollar you add makes a difference. If you can save an extra $500 a month beyond what you're already doing, that's $6,000 a year. Over 10 years with compound growth, that's over $80,000. The bottom line, your 401k with catch-up contributions should be your first priority. Max it out if you possibly can. Strategy number 2, open and max out an IRA. And yes, you should do this even if you have a 401k. Just like with the 401k, IRAs have catch-up contributions. In 2025, you can contribute $7,000 to an IRA, plus an additional $1,000 catch-up if you're 50 or older. That's $8,000 total. Now you might be asking, should I do a traditional IRA or a Roth IRA? Here's the quick breakdown. Traditional IRA. You get a tax deduction now, but you'll pay taxes when you withdraw the money in retirement. This makes sense if you think you'll be in a lower tax bracket when you retire. Roth IRA. You pay taxes now, but all your withdrawals in retirement are tax-free. This makes sense if you think taxes will be higher in the future, or if you're in a relatively low tax bracket now. At 55, my personal recommendation for most people is to lean toward Roth, especially if you can afford it. Here's why. 1. You're diversifying your tax situation. You'll have tax-deferred money in your 401k and tax-free money in your Roth. 2. Roth IRAs don't have required minimum distributions. That means you're not forced to take money out at age 73 like you are with a 401k. And 3. A Roth gives you flexibility. You can withdraw your contributions, not the earnings but your contributions, at any time without penalty. So it doubles as a kind of emergency fund. Now, quick warning, Roth IRAs have income limits. If you're single and make over $165,000 or married and make over $246,000, you can't contribute directly to a Roth. But, and this is important, you can do something called a backdoor Roth, where you contribute to a traditional IRA and then immediately convert it to a Roth. It's completely legal, and it's how high earners get around the income limits. Bottom line on IRAs, this is an extra $8,000 a year you can save. Over 10 years with compound growth, that's well over $100,000. Don't skip this step. Strategy number 3, eliminate your debt aggressively. Here's why this matters more at 55 than it did at 35. Every dollar you're paying in interest is a dollar you're not saving for retirement, and you don't have 30 years to make up for it. You have 10. So here's your priority list. Priority 1, high-interest credit card debt. If you're carrying a balance at 20% or 25% interest, that needs to go. Period. Use the debt avalanche method. Pay minimums on everything except the highest interest debt, then attack that with everything you've got. Priority 2, car loans. If you're making $500 or $600 a month in car payments, that's money that should be going to retirement. Consider driving your car longer, or if you need to replace it, buy something reliable but modest, not a brand new SUV. Priority 3, your mortgage. Now this one is nuanced. If you have a low interest rate, like 3% or 4%, it might make more sense to keep the mortgage and invest the extra money instead. But if you have a high-rate mortgage, or if you're close to paying it off, there's something psychologically powerful about entering retirement with no house payment. Here's what I want you to hear. The fastest way to increase your retirement savings rate is to eliminate your monthly debt payments. If you're paying $1,500 a month in debt payments and you eliminate that, you just freed up $1,500 a month for retirement savings. Let's say you pay off all your debt over the next 3 years. Then you take those freed up payments, let's say $1,500 a month, and dump them into your retirement accounts for the remaining 7 years. At a 7% return, that's over $170,000 you just added to your retirement nest egg. Debt elimination isn't just about financial freedom. At 55, it's a retirement savings strategy. Strategy number 4, find ways to increase your income during these final 10 years. I know, easier said than done. But hear me out, because there are more opportunities here than you might think. Option 1, negotiate a raise at your current job. You're 55, you have decades of experience, and you're likely at the top of your game professionally. Document your accomplishments, research market rates for your position, and make the case. Even a 5% raise can translate to thousands more dollars a year for retirement. Option 2, take on a side gig that plays to your strengths. You don't need to drive for Uber, though you could. But think about consulting in your field, freelance work, teaching or tutoring, or turning a hobby into income. Even an extra $500 or $1,000 a month makes a huge difference. Option 3, consider working a few extra years. I know, not what you want to hear, but working until 67 or 68 instead of 65 does 3 things. It gives you more years to save, more years for your investments to grow, and it delays Social Security, which increases your monthly benefit by about 8% per year. Speaking of Social Security, if you can avoid taking it at 62 and wait until 70, your benefit increases by about 77%. That's like giving yourself a massive raise for the rest of your life. Look, I get that you might be tired. You might be ready to retire. But ask yourself this: would you rather work 2 or 3 extra years now, or worry about money for 20 or 30 years in retirement? The income boost strategy isn't glamorous, but it might be the most powerful lever you have. Strategy number 5, make sure your asset allocation matches your timeline. At 55, you're in this tricky middle zone. You're not young enough to ride out major market crashes without stress, but you're not old enough to play it totally safe, because you still need growth. Here's a general rule of thumb. Take 110 and subtract your age. That's roughly the percentage you should have in stocks. So at 55, that would be about 55% stocks and 45% bonds. But, and this is important, if you're planning to work until 70, or if you have other sources of income like a pension, you might want to be more aggressive. Maybe 70% stocks, 30% bonds. The key is this: you need growth, but you also need to protect yourself from a major market crash right before you retire. That's called sequence of returns risk, and it can devastate your retirement if you're 100% in stocks and the market drops 40% the year you turn 65. So here's what you do. 1, diversify across asset classes: stocks, bonds, maybe some real estate or other alternatives. 2, consider target date funds. These automatically adjust your allocation as you get closer to retirement. If you're planning to retire in 2035, you'd choose a 2035 target date fund. 3, rebalance annually. If stocks have a great year and suddenly you're 80% stocks, sell some and buy bonds to get back to your target allocation. And listen, if this stuff makes your head spin, there's no shame in hiring a fee-only financial advisor. We're talking about your life savings here. Getting professional help is worth the cost. The point, at 55, you can't afford to be reckless, but you also can't afford to be too conservative. You need a balanced approach that gives you growth without exposing you to catastrophic risk. All right, we've covered a lot of tactical strategies. But before we wrap up, I want to talk about something that might be even more important: your mindset. If you're 55 and behind on retirement savings, there's probably a voice in your head saying things like, "I'm such an idiot for not starting earlier. I'll never catch up. I'm going to be broke when I'm old." I need you to turn that voice off right now. Because here's the truth. Shame and regret are useless emotions when it comes to money. They don't motivate you, they paralyze you. And paralysis is the last thing you need right now. What you need is clarity, urgency, and focus. Principle 1. Every dollar you save today is a dollar you don't have to worry about tomorrow. You can't change the past, but you control what happens next. Principle 2. Small actions compound. Saving an extra $100 a month doesn't sound like much, but over 10 years, it's over $15,000. And that might be the difference between running out of money at 78 or 85. Principle 3. It's not too late until you give up. I've seen people start from nothing at 55 and retire comfortably at 70. I've also seen people with decent savings blow it all because they didn't have a plan. Your future isn't written yet. Look, I'm not going to pretend this is easy. You're going to have to make sacrifices. You're going to have to say no to things. You might have to work longer than you plan. But the alternative, retiring broke, or being dependent on others, or worrying about money every single day, is so much worse. You can do this. You absolutely can do this. But you have to start today, and you have to go all in. All right, let's bring this home. If you're 55 and saving for retirement, here's your action plan. 1. Max out your 401k with catch-up contributions, $31,000 a year if you can. 2. Open and fund an IRA, preferably a Roth, for an extra $8,000 a year. 3. Eliminate your debt aggressively. Free up those monthly payments for retirement savings. 4. Boost your income through raises, side gigs, or working a few extra years. 5. Get your asset allocation right. Balance between growth and protection. Do these 5 things consistently for the next 10 years, and you will transform your retirement picture. Will you be a millionaire? Maybe, maybe not. But will you have enough to retire with dignity and security? Absolutely. If this video helped you, do me a favor. Hit that like button and subscribe. I make videos every week about personal finance, retirement, and building wealth. And I'd love to have you along for the ride. Drop a comment below and let me know. What's your biggest challenge when it comes to saving for retirement? I read every comment, and your questions often inspire future videos. You've got this. Now go make it happen.